Hey there, I'm the Madcatster. Am I glad to see you here? Well, we haven't talked about Sniperwolf and the divorce she's in the middle of with her husband and the lawsuit he filed against her, claiming that they faked the whole Sniperwolf channel. I've got some updates, something interesting and strange going on. We're going to talk about it. You know me, I've got the deets and all the receipts, so buckle up and let's go. Hey guys, so first of all, I apologize for my voice. I've been out of the hospital for a week now, and yet my voice is still not recovered. I don't know why. Those of you who don't know, I had a life-threatening scare a couple weeks ago where I had to go to the hospital in an ambulance. I was down in Georgia visiting my sister and my brother-in-law, and unfortunately I had a severe respiratory distress attack that necessitated me going to the hospital for a week, being on oxygen and all kinds of medication and all kinds of tests getting done. Long story short, one of the things they discovered, and you're not going to believe this, I am allergic to cats. So no, don't worry, the cats aren't going anywhere. I'm doing fine. I've been home for a week now. I feel great. If my voice would just come back. But I'm going to be starting desensitization treatments, which is injections that they give you over time to help eliminate your allergic reaction to certain things. And cat dander is one of the things I'm going to be getting desensitized to. I've also got some cleaning procedures. I've got a bunch of ionizing air purifiers that I've had to put in the house. A bunch of things I'm putting in place. But anyways, I am feeling better. I appreciate all the support and your kind wishes. I couldn't wait any longer to make a video. It's just too much time going by. So please bear with my voice. But Sybil is upstairs. Cedric is here. I've asked Sybil to come down. Let's talk about where we are. So first of all, we are just several hundred subscribers away from hitting 50,000 subscribers. Can you believe it? So I know you're not subscribed, Cedric. I know you're not subscribed. So please subscribe. Please like the video. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, so Sniperwolf. So just for a recap and sort of to bring us up to speed to where we are. Those of you who may not be aware, Sniperwolf for years had represented that she was like the sole operator of this channel, that she played all these games herself, that she wasn't married, that she was dating this guy Sausage, Evan Young. Then I actually, and some people may not realize this, I'm the one who broke that story about both the divorce and the lawsuit. Nobody else had seen that court file or those court filings until I broke them and I put them out there. So that was my scoop. So don't you forget it. Anyways, so what I found out was not only was she in a relationship with Evan Young, they were married for over 10 years. And he filed for divorce actually in the court down in Arizona. Now, at the same time, or shortly thereafter, he also filed a lawsuit against Sniperwolf. Alia Shelesh is her real name. And in his bombshell lawsuit, he played the games, he claims. She just pretended and did the commentary. And he claims that the channel was equally theirs. And they had this company that basically was the parent company of the channel. He got mad because she started going and making side deals and trying to cut him out of the channel. And that's when he basically blew the whole thing up and said, hey, we faked it. And I'm suing her for what's rightfully mine because she's trying to basically cut me out. So we had some interesting back and forth in the courts. Those of you who might remember, Sniperwolf's attorney, Alia, aka Sniperwolf, Alia's attorneys got real creative. They thought it was like a creative writing exercise. And we saw some really bizarre pleadings get filed with the court. And just to refresh your memory, here is some of the nonsense that they submitted. Alia Shelesh's attorneys filed a motion to dismiss. And it was weird, and I'll put it up here. They had this weird opening to their motion to dismiss, unlike anything I've ever seen, where they said a bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? And they put this big heading here, gaslighting, okay? And they went on to give this explanation, but we're not going to go over that whole thing again. It just was really weird, okay? And that sort of set the tone for the crap that they started filing with the court. And basically, they were trying to convince the court that they should dismiss this and let the family court that was handling the divorce handle the whole thing, which I think is nonsense. And the court didn't buy it. They didn't grant the motion. They allowed the case to continue. So she lost that round. But that didn't put an end to the creative writing. So then, before the motion to dismiss actually got decided, Evan Young had filed his, of course, opposition to that. Then Alia Shelesh's attorneys filed their response to his opposition. And the reply in support of their motion to dismiss, this is how they started that one out. New York City is a large city in the United States. The moon revolves around the earth. A chicken has 4 legs. And then they went on to like say, oh, a chicken doesn't really have 4 legs, but it took you a second. I don't know. Does it take you a second to realize a chicken doesn't have 4 legs? That one didn't go over my head. I caught that one right away. So, but, you know, and then that was the start again of more shenanigans where they've basically tried to cutesy up their pleadings, which, trust me, I've been an attorney for a while now. The court doesn't have a sense of humor usually about these things. Pleadings are very serious things. You don't fool around with the pleadings and make them cutesy and try to, you know, and try to win the court over that way. It doesn't work. And I'm sure, you know, I don't know for certain, but my guess would be the judge was not real happy with the way they continued this streak of nonsense. So ultimately, after all of this storytelling and back and forth over the motion to dismiss, the court said that they found that while the complaint alleges claims that plainly overlap with the family court disputes, they are distinct and relate to contractual obligations and breaches. The direct and derivative claims on behalf of Channel Red, that's the company that was like the parent company for the whole SSSniperwolf brand, or is the parent company, are sufficiently pleaded. So the court decided, no, Evan Young's complaint was sufficiently pleaded. Therefore, the motion to dismiss is denied. The case moves forward. So, since that time, we've been sort of waiting to see what was going to go on, both in the divorce and the lawsuit. And I've kept a close eye on it. I keep checking every week to see what is going on. And I've had a million people say to me, hey, Madcatster, what's going on with SSSniperwolf? What's going on with SSSniperwolf? And I had to keep saying, nothing. There's nothing happened. The court allowed the case to continue, but nothing's been filed. Normally in this case, what would have happened is, okay, so in lieu of an answer, and we've talked about this before, Alia Shelesh's attorneys filed a motion to dismiss. The motion to dismiss got denied. She then filed her answer, which she's required to do now that her motion was denied. After that, usually we would move on to what's called discovery, the discovery phase, where the parties would exchange requests for documents and requests for answers to what's called interrogatories or certain questions. They would have asked for admissions, so you either admit or deny that certain things are factual. And then after the discovery phase, we would have then, you know, chugged along and gone into like more motions and stuff, and ultimately end in either a trial or a settlement. So, and I kind of expect that this is going to end up settling. I can't imagine that it goes all the way to trial. It could, but in my experience, I doubt it. But so I've been watching the docket. I'm like, what is going on? So what had happened was this case has been just sort of stagnating for a while now, for months, without anything getting filed. So the court in Arizona apparently has what's called a dismissal docket. If a case sits there and languishes, it eventually gets moved onto a track for dismissal. And if the parties don't do something, and then the court would then automatically at some point dismiss it on a certain date. We sometimes call that like dismissal for lack of prosecution, meaning that it just sat there, nothing happened. The plaintiff didn't file anything, defendant didn't file anything. And so they asked the court in Arizona, please extend the date that the court is going to dismiss this and allow us more time. My guess is the only thing I could think of why they would do that without filing anything else is they're actively trying to bring this to some sort of a settlement to get rid of it. Okay? And so here's what the court did. Okay. And so initially the court put out a notice of placement on the dismissal calendar. So after it sat there for a while, it says, pursuant to Rule 38.1D of the Arizona Rules of Civil Procedure, the parties and counsel are notified that this case is being placed on the dismissal calendar. This case will be dismissed without further notice on May 20th, unless one of the following actions occurs prior to the date of dismissal. A joint report and proposed scheduling order. A scheduling order is like you set up timeline for when things are going to happen in the case, like when's discovery due, when are depositions due, that sort of thing. So you would need to file a scheduling order. Or they would have to have a comprehensive pretrial conference, which means they get together and talk about where the case is, and then they sort of set up a framework of what's going to happen. Or a final judgment, notice of decision, arbitration award, or dismissal is entered, meaning if the parties come to some kind of a settlement. Or they file a motion to continue on the dismissal calendar, demonstrating good cause, and it has to be filed and granted. And so that's what they did. They filed that with the court. And so they ended up filing a motion together, the attorneys, asking the court to extend it. Here's the order from the court. The court granted their request. It's now been extended out to August. They've got till then to either file something with the court or settle it or something. Or again, the court, without any further notice, will dismiss this case when that date comes. So I then looked at, well, what's going on with the divorce? Because they're kind of tied together. And so I pulled up the divorce docket, and guess what? You can see here's the divorce case, here's the docket, and you can see that in April, they also filed a stipulated motion to continue the dismissal deadline in the divorce case, which I think has to do with, again, settlement and property settlement and division of assets. They're probably trying to work it out and come up with some kind of an amicable settlement so the divorce can be granted and they will have come to terms without the court having to make a decision about who gets what. And the court signed the order, they granted the request, and this matter too has been pushed out. So now both matters are kind of sitting in limbo. What's going to happen? I think they're working on a settlement, but we'll have to wait and see. And I'll keep looking at it because between now and August, something's got to happen. Otherwise, this case is going to be dismissed, and that's going to be kind of weird because Evan Young will either have to start all over again or they stay married, I guess, and let it drop and continue on. I don't know, which is a doubtful scenario to me. I think it's going to end up being a settlement. They probably just need a couple more months to kind of figure it out. They'll probably end up dismissing the civil case. You know, they'll end up finding some kind of agreement with the divorce court, showing that, you know, they've decided who gets what, and then the court will go ahead and give them their divorce. What do you think is going on here? Do you agree with me that they're probably trying to work out a settlement? Do you think there's something else going on? Let me know your thoughts. I'd really appreciate it. I've got some people to thank for Amazon. I'm going to do it in the next video, which I am going to record right after this, because I've got some stuff going on with Illuminati that is kind of weird because my name has now come up in the Illuminati lawsuit. And we're going to talk about that in the next video, which I'm going to record right after. Thank you so much to our Patreon patrons. Thank you so much to all of our channel members. Thank you to everybody for supporting us, and especially for those of you who have given a little extra support to me during my time of medical distress and emergency and my recovery. I appreciate you guys. You guys who donate monthly, that stuff goes to, here's good little boy Cedric, the cat's veterinary bills and medications and things. So you guys, in the interim, between now and that next video, take care of yourselves, love one another, and I'll see you in the next one really soon.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.